To begin, I guess this week it came out. So I didn't actually watch the movie, but my friend Ryan here did watch it. And what do you think?
Wow, just going right into it. All right.
Why not?
I figured it'd buff it up a little bit, you know. But as for the movie itself, it was good. It was a well thought out movie. They went ahead and were able to explore the characters much better, I feel, than, say, the ABC original two-parter miniseries, which, of course, is much more closely resembling the book in the way it's formatted, with the adults being brought in and the flashbacks to their childhood as opposed to just starting in the childhood. But I feel this way you get a better sense of who these people are, who these kids are, a little bit deeper feeling and background. So this way, once the second movie comes out, which of course the second movie is definitely going to come out after this weekend, 117.2 million. That is way beyond expectations. That has broken so many records it would be silly of them not to. Although this does play into who they're probably going to cast for the second one. It's going to have to be something very simple and intricate, and more than likely the kids themselves will probably make some sort of featured flashback just in case, because now you're more invested for the kids than you are for the adults. But I think as far as it being a scary movie, it had some scares. It had some scares, but I wouldn't say to the point where people are going to be jumping out of their seats. It's not like freakish sort of paranormal activity. You've never seen this sort of stuff before. I'd say a couple of jump scares would definitely do it, but I think it's more creepy than scary. You know?
So, what would you say? It's a good film? Would you say it
It's an
does
absolute,
capture you?
yeah, it's an absolutely good film. But I mean, if you go into it thinking it's going to be like this raucous sort of horror movie, and the girl's going to be jumping the whole time into your arms while you got her arm around her in the theater, you know, guys are tend to do with horror movies, you're going to be slightly disappointed. I think it's got more of a creep factor and more of a Stand By Me coming of age sort of feel to it, which I think for a horror movie is a nice change of pace. Because let's face it, up until now we've gone ahead and we've been more accustomed to things like The Conjuring and Annabelle and things of that nature, which allows for, you know, a lot of special effects sort of seen, unseen, jump scare sort of mentality, where that's what we're accustomed to as far as horror movies are concerned. And it's worked. Not to say it hasn't worked, because horror films have really made their money back. But something like this, something on this kind of a scale, I think you need to do something more, and they did that. They made it a much more substantial film. They made a better movie as opposed to a better horror movie.
But I mean, I've never read the book, but I've heard of the differences between the book and the original TV series, and very obviously, I guess there's more emphasis on it being a clown, Pennywise, as opposed to any of its other forms.
Well, yeah, I mean, you do see a change a little bit. No spoilers or anything like that, but obviously the focus here is probably going to be more on the what's the word that you have for like the certain version of something? The
The one that starts with an M.
Not the
Certain version.
yeah, sure, it's fine. Make me sound stupid. Yeah, that certain version of this creature is particularly set for this character, and I think it makes sense to do that because I want to feel. I mean, I'm no expert on Stephen King. I've never read any of his books too in depth. Read some, but just as like, oh, okay, I want to read it. I want to find out. But I want to think that when he originally did it, the original version of Pennywise was something more slated with the times. Because obviously they had to go ahead and update this story. So while the kid setting is set in like the late 1800s, in 1980s, not 1800s, 1980s, like when Gremlins and everything came out, that's when this is set. In fact, you can actually see like a Gremlins poster in the kid's room when you first start off. So that's all been updated. Obviously, if you track that back 27 years, we're talking like, you know, late 50s, early 60s that this is sort of coming about because the original film took place in the 1990s. So if you take 27 years off that, and you're looking at a clown that's probably more reminiscent to that time. Like, I don't know if you ever watched stuff like, you know, Howdy Doody and stuff like that, and saw like those primetime clowns that would sometimes be around. that Pennywise that Tim Curry did, it was reflective of that, like something off a kid's show. This clown is a lot more dated. So it looks almost something like turn of the century, like something that would have been in a traveling circus, that same era as like Dumbo or something. Maybe even older. So I think the fact that they're going ahead and they're giving a little bit more history to the creature itself, which they say they're going to do in the sequel. They're going to go ahead and delve more into the backstory of Pennywise. And you see that with some of the photos, because if you see the movie and you see photos of the thing, it's like...
By the way, spoilers.
Not really spoilers, because you've seen it in the trailer. You know, you see that picture of like that old Pennywise clown etched in with like those old pictures. So obviously this is something that's been around much, much longer than saying you would have expected from the original story. You know, that's something that could have just happened around that time, but obviously this thing goes back and back and back. So it'll be interesting to see, maybe there's some sort of a lineage thing that all these kids are connected to. You know, maybe their great-grandfathers had to deal with this thing, who knows? Maybe that's why they were able to conquer it, why them as opposed to other kids. But all in all, I'd say if you're interested in the story, then go see it for the story. But if you're interested for scares, you may be a little disappointed, but it's still an adventure nonetheless. It'll be a nice ride for you to take. It'll be something for you to thoroughly enjoy, and something to help you look forward to the next film, which it's still going to be in only 2 years. So they're going to cast it quick, they're going to roll it out quick, and hopefully Muschietti, who directed this one, who also did Mama, hopefully he can get Jessica Chastain to play the girl, because apparently he worked well in Mama, and I want to see her in this. If you're going to get any big star, get Chastain. I want Chastain. As for the other people, don't care.
All right, scale 1 to 10?
Solid 8. Solid 8. Yeah.
Cool. All right, I can't comment any other thing on it because I haven't seen the movie yet. Yeah, it's been like maybe a decade since I've even seen the Tim Curry version, so I'm gonna move on.
Well, I mean, is it something that you're interested in seeing now after I've talked about it?
I mean, to a certain degree. I mean, I'll be honest with you. This is our first podcast, so
experiment.
Kind of.
Yes.
But this is I don't know. I'm not a big horror movie fan, to be fair.
What?
No, I mean, I know some people like that stuff. Like, it's just the thrill going to see something that thrills you. But it's like, I have enough thrills in my life. I don't.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know you lived in a haunted house already or something like that.
In my head.
Lord knows what's in that head. Although he's the technical genius over here, so I really shouldn't complain too much. But like I said, though, I mean, it's less a scary story as it is just a coming of age. Like, you ever seen Stand By Me?
Yeah.
Ever see The Sandlot?
Yes.
Ever see, well, maybe not, Boyhood?
Maybe.
Alright, so I mean, if you can get through those, then you should be able to watch something like this. I mean, it's definitely got its dark reality moments. You know, there's more than just the fear of this clown that comes around. You know, you're seeing the fears that these kids grow up with. You know, and there's plenty of them. So if it's one of those things that, it makes you shake because it reminds you of something happened in your childhood, that in itself can be scary. Not frightening to the point where you jump, but it's unnerving.
I might say it for I was about to say VHS, but they don't kind of exist.
Wow, we were really experimenting here. We're like taking all kinds.
I'll wait for the Betamax.
Yes. Once that becomes retro again and everyone starts collecting it with the big discs and shit.